This video will review oral motor development from birth to 24 months for the NBCOT exam. It will be a concise version with just the main developmental oral motor milestones, and I'll teach you some tricks, as usual, to remember this information. By the way, are you enrolled in the OTDUDE NBCOT exam prep course? It's free to register, and you'll get instant access to these videos, quizzes, study guides, and more in a single online course. The link is in the description. Let's get functional. The three oral developmental skills are 1. Sucking or drinking, 2. Swallowing, and 3. Biting or chewing. At birth, the baby has the reflexes to help them nurse from mom or feed from the bottle. This includes the rooting reflex, which lasts until about 4 months. Rooting is the one where something stimulates the corner of the baby's mouth, and they follow and root in that direction. The sucking reflex helps the baby to get ready to suck when nursing from mom. With the suck reflex, when the roof of the baby's mouth is touched, the baby will start to suck. It's important to note that at birth, babies may use a sucking or a suckling pattern. Their tongue moves in an extension-retraction pattern for their primitive suck-swallow pattern from a bottle or the breast. Baby does not bite or chew at birth, which is good for mom as they're learning to nurse and it can be very painful. So their diet is also liquids only. The gag and cough reflexes help to protect the baby's airway, keeping it open. Next is 4 to 5 months. At 4 to 5 months, baby can eat pureed foods, but primarily still relies on formula or breast milk for nutrition. The baby continues to use the sucking pattern. They may begin munching with the jaw moving up and down, but it is not considered controlled or sustained and can be thought of as being very primitive, as it uses a primitive phasic bite and release pattern. An example is the munching of a soft cookie like Cookie Monster from Sesame Street. One way to remember this is the fun fact about how in Sesame Street, all the other characters on Sesame Street actually have only 4 fingers on each hand, but Cookie Monster has 5, probably to munch on more cookies. This helps you to remember the 4 to 5 months. As for the tongue, it moves up and down when sucking on formula or on breast milk. At 6 months, baby may swallow thicker pureed foods and even some lumpy foods. They develop an up-down movement of the jaw that is less automatic. The tongue can now perform different movements, such as up and down with the bottle, also extension retraction with drinking from a cup, and may move side to side with chewing and some lateralization. As we all know, the tongue plays an important role in taste, but also for proprioception, as it develops more muscle tone for coordinated movements. At 9 months, baby can incorporate more foods into their diet. Their sucking pattern is now very strong. So strong, in fact, that there is no liquid loss. They coordinate sucking with their breath using a 1 to 3 sucks before stopping to swallow or breathe pattern. Their munching is now diagonal instead of up and down, and food now transfers from the center of the mouth to the sides, such as the cheeks. This is known as lateral movement. Next, we jump to 12 months, in which the diet advances to more chewed foods, including meats and chopped foods. An important milestone is having a controlled and sustained bite for a soft small cookie that was more difficult before when they were younger. It's also less messy. They begin rotary chewing movements and can now easily transfer food to both the left side and right sides inside the mouth. At 18 months, baby can now eat a hard cookie compared to before, a soft cookie at 12 months. This is because they have a controlled, sustained bite that can break up the cookie with their even more developed teeth. Rotary chewing is also more developed. And last, at 24 months, baby can now eat all foods, except for very tough meats or skins. They demonstrate chewing with circular, rotary movements. Now, I will teach you a way you can retain this information. It's important to note that while I review these ages at specific months that I mentioned before, in specific milestones, it can be a funny thing that milestones are approximate and can vary among infants. So the material that you are reviewing from, say, another study guide may be slightly off in, say, the months. But I wouldn't worry too much about this as long as you're pretty close. I got this information from a widely used pediatric OT textbook. So my trick is to think about the developmental oral milestones as the numbers on an analog clock for the jaw and tongue movements. I went over the Cookie Monster analogy at 4 to 5 months. And at 6 months or 6 o'clock, the hour or minute or second hand, doesn't matter which one, they're pointing vertically, as in pointing up and down, like north and south on a compass, right? So this helps you remember the direction up and down. And so what moves up and down at 6 months? The jaw movement as well as the tongue moving up and down with a bottle. So following this clock analogy, at 9 months, the hands of the clock are at 9 o'clock and is now horizontal, right? Like left, right, or east, west on a compass. Coincidentally, at 9 months, baby begins lateral movement and food transfer to the sides. And now going back to 12 months or 12 o'clock, we are vertical again. So this time you can imagine the up and down movement being either stronger, more advanced, or more mature. And at 12 months, they have a more controlled and sustained bite with a more advanced diet. So that follows that analogy going back to 12 o'clock again. At 18 months or 18 o'clock, it would technically land on the 6th digit on the 6 o'clock, which is again vertical, right? So their bite is even more sustained in order to eat a hard cookie. And last, we have 24 months, which we have come full circle for a day on the clock. So you can now imagine that they have mastered almost all foods, because even for me, as an adult, some tough meats and other foods, such as with skin, can still be difficult to eat. So we need to be very careful, especially for a 2-year-old. They might have some trouble with it, but they can eat all other table foods. So I hope this helps. To get the most out of this information, I recommend that you rewatch this several times through repetition and to check out my NBCOT exam prep course as well. Some topics have quizzes to quiz your knowledge, and you might find that helpful. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your study groups. I'm Jeff, the OT Dude. Thanks for watching and good luck studying.